Megan Gallagher. Ms Roddick.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I'm glad we have the opportunity to debate this today, not because I agree with the motion. I actually fundamentally disagree with the framing of social security as a cost instead of an investment in the people of Scotland, but because I recognise that there is a concerted effort going on by some to claw back money from those who need it the most in the name of being responsible. But it would not be responsible for a government to leave people in poverty. Those of us who know how damaging that is need to take every opportunity we can to speak up against that and bring the debate back to the basics. We have to decide whether, as a country, we want to support people with the essentials, food, heating, health, and eradicate poverty, or protect and expand the disgusting wealth gap that already exists in the UK. Now, the motion specifically mentions adult disability payment. Let me remind Parliament why ADP is essential. We replaced the cruel and demeaning process of personal independence payment, a system which was based on suspicion and targets, with a process built on dignity, fairness and respect. The Tories today seem to want to bring us back to that suspicion and those dehumanising targets. If the Audit Scotland report confirms high demand for ADP, that is because demand is high, and people now have a fairer, more compassionate system to turn to. We cannot then turn them away or deny them their dignity. At a time where we are doing all we can to reduce child poverty, kids living in poverty in our communities, and people across Scotland are still struggling with the cost of living, prioritising cutting tax would be absurd. Tax exists to support the common good, and I'm happy that my taxes here go towards ending child poverty. Now that the UK Government has finally done the right thing and scrapped the two-child cap, what that money that we'd started to spend on mitigating it here should now go towards is extra effort to support families. Because the last UK Government, under Alexander Stewart's party, didn't just cut social security spending. The Tories embarked on a systemic and sustained tearing apart of the security net that is supposed to exist to prevent anyone, including children, including disabled people, including pensioners, from falling below a minimum standard where they can't afford to eat. Yes, I will.
Elizabeth.
I thank the member for giving way. If she is correct in that, can I ask her where she feels that the revenue would be found in order to finance that? Because it's a huge, fat bill.
Roddick.
It is a huge investment in people who are otherwise struggling to be productive, active members of society. Now, when we're talking about children and we're talking about disabled people, there is no world in which it is legitimate to allow them to fall into poverty rather than support them financially to be productive members of society. And this doesn't get fixed with one change. And the Scottish Government has a huge job in rebuilding that safety net that was torn apart. That undertaking is not an easy job, even if you're in charge at a UK level, but it is even harder when you're a devolved government working within the constraints and at the whim of a UK government. And unfortunately, this debate today is a good example. The government had stepped up to do necessary work because the UK government refused to scrap the two-child cap, despite knowing the damage that it was doing. Now, late, they've taken action, and the Scottish Government has to readjust priorities and take a new approach. It is possible to at once be glad that the two-child cap will not apply anywhere in the UK, as it shouldn't be, and to be frustrated at the constant difficulty faced in Scotland by that sustained and comprehensive approach being held back because we don't know what the UK Government is going to do next. Yes, the forecasting funding gap is a huge challenge and it's concerning, but it is not inherently a criticism of the priorities that the Scottish Government has set out. The fact that the UK Government's spending and the resulting block grant to Scotland does not provide enough money to tackle poverty is a problem. The fact that the Scottish Government is trying to tackle types of poverty which are a direct result of past UK policies is a problem. And the fact that people will still struggle after this one change is a problem that means we need further investment, not reprioritisation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms Roddick.